What's going on, everybody? It's AG400, and I'm with Big Mike Raider again. If you have not seen it yet, check out our Raiders show. We did a show about the Raiders game, Raiders and Chargers. That link will be right up there, so check that out afterwards, or just head to our channel, hit subscribe while you're there, and we got some best bets and picks for this game as well. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I'm going with your divisional foe here, Mike. I got the Chiefs in this one, -2, traveling to Cincinnati. That gives me some pause for concern. The fact that they're in Cincinnati, over under set at 53. I think that this over could smash as well. It could be a shootout. But I'm taking the Chiefs here in a revenge game. Patty Mahomes, I just trust him to be a little pissed off about the last two games that they've played, and he's got to get one. This is like a legacy game almost for Patty Mahomes,
Yeah,
and I'm joking when I say that, but in a way, it is. It's a nice little revenge spot for him, and I think getting him under a field goal with how hot the Chiefs have been. And the Bengals have been playing well too, but I just think the Chiefs are a better team overall, better coached, and so I'll take them under a field goal any day of the week. If this was 3.5, I'm thinking a little harder about it, but at -2, I'm rolling with the Chiefs.
yeah. You look back in history, and it's a good point you make with the legacy thing. That's why I like. I agree with you to 100%, because if you look back in history, right, you got like the greats like Jordan and Peyton Manning and those kind of guys, like just any kind of sport. They run into an obstacle, and then they face that obstacle again, and they knock it down.
Yep.
This is exactly what you're going to see with Patrick Mahomes in this game. I agree with you. I think he has one of those career-defining games, just out of just revenge, and we're going to see what he's made of. We're going to see if he's that guy that kind of lets that sit and that he takes that personally, basically. I think so. I think he can be that guy. If you're looking, as far as the game goes, we're looking at, I mentioned it before, the dirty rule, right, with the yards per play differential. The Chiefs are like a 1.2 in yards per play differential, which is ridiculous. Their defense is playing pretty well, but their offense is the best in the league. So if you look at that, and compared to the Bengals, they should be, favored by almost a touchdown. And, this is on a neutral field. So you kind of give the Bengals a little bit of benefit of the doubt, since it is, they are at home. So I am definitely leaning towards the Chiefs to cover that too. And then as far as the over-under goes, Vegas expects it to be, like a 28-25 game, according to the numbers. But I would say that it's probably going to be something like that, a 28-24 type of game. I agree. So, my advice to anybody who wants to bet the over-under is kind of monitor the game, see how it's going, and then make your bet based on that later on. But,
that's a good play.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning, slightly under, like a 28-24 type of game, but play, get a feel of the game and how it's going first before you go with that. So that's a great strategy that people should use more often, especially if you know that you're going to have a chance to watch the game. Like, obviously, if you got things to do Sunday, any bet that you kind of like, you got to lock it in or whatever, right? But if you know you're going to be watching the game and paying attention anyway, wait on this one. And if you don't get any scores in the first quarter, or if it's like 4 minutes left in the first quarter and both teams punted so far, you're going to get that number at 48 or 49. Yeah. And if you like the over the whole time, if you liked over 53, you obviously like over 49. So, right. But you might end up getting hooked on the 51 if you take it before the game starts. So, very sound advice there. I think that's a good way to play a very high total with two high-powered offenses like this, because it's very possible that they both punt on their first possessions, and then you're getting a way lower number. It's also possible that they both score, and then you get 62 or something, and you're like, oh, they're not going to sustain 62 points or 60 or whatever the case is. And you go under in the first quarter. So definitely a good way to play it. To your point about Patty Mahomes, and we're going to see if he's like that revenge guy, if he's like letting it bubble right now. I kind of feel like also that AFC Championship game, as the quarterback, as the superstar leader of the team, and the way he played, the way he performed in that game, you got to imagine that he kind of puts that one on himself. Like, I feel like Patty took that one on the chin and was like, I didn't play well. That's sack he took before halftime. There was just a bunch of plays, but that's the one that stands out that I remember off the top of my head. But he wasn't playing like himself, and we were on the Bengals on this channel. we had the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Ant had
Wow.
his great conspiracy theory about why the year of the tiger, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff in it,
Yeah.
and it panned out. So we were on the Bengals, and I had told some of the bar regulars. I work at a bar, and I had told some of them like, "Yo, I'm feeling the Bengals, blah blah blah. I think
Yeah.
the fix is in or whatever, messing around."
Yeah.
And they came in the next day and they were like, "Dude, Patty Mahomes was playing like a high school quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the NFL." And I said,
Yeah.
"I told you,"
Yeah,
know
there
what I
you
mean?
go.
But like, it lined up that way because
Yeah.
Patty Mahomes had such a bad game that it looked like he was throwing it. Some of those
Yeah.
decisions he made was not his decision. Like, he's a very good decision maker. He's a
Yeah.
very good leader. He knows what he's doing at the quarterback position. It was uncharacteristic. And
Yeah.
that's the best way to describe it. So I think that he took that on the chin. He should have
Yeah.
at least, and he should be coming into this game ready to rock.
Yeah. And if you definitely, really buy into like a script kind of deal, Patrick Mahomes going off in this game is definitely one that you want to buy in on.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to add to your point, man. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
it's only right. It's only right.
Yeah, they got to get their guy back on track. And like I said, they've been hot in general, like coming back to football terms and like legit football talk. But like, yeah, they've been hot, and the Bengals have been playing well. They might be getting Jamar Chase back. I'm sure. I mean, they hope obviously, but I've identified some matchups here. In terms of the Chiefs pass game and Patty Mahomes, speaking of him, it's kind of a good on good matchup because Cincy's pass defense isn't bad. They're in the top 15 in the league, but they're 25th in yards per completion. So the top 15 in yards, but 25th in yards per completion allowed. Chiefs are first in yards and second in yards per completion. So I think that we might see some big plays downfield, maybe like a Travis Kelce over longer catch, because you know how he gets. He'll take a slant and just start mixing all of the DBs or running them over or crossing them up, whatever he feels like doing at any given moment. But the DBs, they can't handle him is the point, and he'll get another 20, 25 yards, especially against a team that has proven that they can't really tackle and they can't really stop the long ball. We saw Treylon Burks get a really long ball against the Bengals last week. We saw Derrick Henry take a screen for 80 yards and should have been a touchdown, but he fumbled and Burks got the touchdown instead. But nonetheless, it was an 80-yard screen pass. So I could see that. I could see Travis Kelce taking a slant or Juju Smith-Schuster taking one. Things like that. Kadarius Toney. It's always a possibility with this Chiefs offense. So that's somewhere I might be looking. In terms of the over-under that we were talking about, so first in points put up about 30 a game, and Sissy's defense, they're 13th though, so they are good at playing tighter games and not allowing a ton of points. 21 though, so it's not like it's a huge difference.
Right.
That would hit us at about 50 on their averages there.
Yep.
Obviously, since he has no run game, I mean, yeah, obviously they're not even trying really. They're 27th in rushing yards, 29th in yards per rush. Kansas City's defense is 6th in rushing yards allowed, 14th in yards per rush. Cincy's defense gets no pass rush, though, to go back to the Patty Mahomes passing game point. No pass rush at all. Patty Mahomes doesn't really get sacked anyway. But we did see that change last year when he was running around in circles instead of throwing the ball away and got sacked before halftime. I'm going to keep bringing that play up because it was just so unlike Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I don't see him making those mistakes again, though. I think he's going to be getting rid of the ball quick, nickel and dime in his defense up and down the field, in my opinion. And that's not to say that they're going to blow him out or anything, but I do think they'll be able to cover the 3 pretty easily. They might even be able to cover a touchdown by the end of this. And in terms of Cincy's offense, obviously their passing game is favored here. They're 4th in the league in passing right now. Joe Burrow is airing it out. They might get Jamar Chase back. Kansas City's defense has not been able to stop the pass too well. They're 21st in the league right now in passing yards allowed. Since he also, I mean, they told us they fixed the O-line problem in the offseason, but it has not looked like that. They are still allowing the 28th most sacks. Joe Burrow is one of the leading passers in the league, but he can't stay up. He has no time, which even makes it even more impressive for Joe Burrow. But they're 28th in giving up sacks, 3.2 per game. And Kansas City defense gets a lot of sacks. They're 6th in that department with 3.2 per game also. So, what do you think about all that I laid out? I know I just threw a bunch of numbers out.
I do like the point you made with the Kelce. I had him at I'm definitely going to lock him in at over 83.5 yards. I know that's a big number, but Kelce, he's one of those guys that can easily get that at halftime. So it's a -103. So that would be something that I like, that I will lock in. I think this game kind of sets it up for it to be kind of a quarterback versus quarterback kind of duo where it's good on good. They're both playing at their best. So if you want to go over yards with those two guys, I would definitely go with that. I know it's pretty high for Mahomes at 308. But Mahomes is, he's unarguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now.
Right.
He's playing the best in the league right now. So 308, that's attainable. And then you got Burrow at 297.5, which is a little bit high, but I can see kind of a quarterback duo highlighted and being the highlight of this game. So that's a minus 119. So those are the two that I like. And if Jamar Chase does he does play, I like him to get involved in the game early. I like for the Bengals to get him
right
in,
back at him.
Yeah,
I like that too. Good angle.
And that's a plus 100 for anytime touchdown for according to Caesars. So that might be something to look at. And then if you're feeling adventurous, 2 touchdowns for Jamar Chase. It's plus 525, but that's kind of a reach. But
I know we both chuckled on that, but earlier in the week, a couple weeks ago, before Chase was hurt, Chad on our Sunday morning show called out 100 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jamar Chase. It was that game. I think they were playing the Saints, and he smashed that shit. It was a huge payout. So we're chuckling, but listen, it can hit. Speaking of the Sunday show, though, me and Mike are going off limited odds right now. We don't have all of the props up and everything as we're recording this on Friday. So we're going with what we can, and we're kind of just giving you our game analysis and talking through what we think is going to happen and what we think might be a good play. But we don't have numbers for a lot of these props. Like for receiving yards, we only have Kelsey and Noah Gray right now. For running, we only have Patty Mahomes. So we're not working with much right now, but that's why we're just giving you kind of our analysis instead of official picks. But if you hit subscribe and tune in Sunday morning, me and Chad will give out official picks. Mike, you're more than welcome to jump in too if you're up. I know we go a little early though for your time in the West, but as always, you're always invited. But I just wanted to mention that because that's why we're not really giving the best picks out. We're just kind of talking through the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I kind of wanted to mention that the whole injury news surrounding Chase and whether or not he's playing. Like, I think teams do this strategically, especially in a big game like this. They're kind of like holding their cards to him, close to him. You don't want to show what they have first, too early. Yep. So the team, maybe they don't prep for him, the way they should. And if that is the case, I think Jamar Chase is going to play, and I'm sure the Chiefs think he's going to play as well. But for the Bengals' sake, if they're really thinking that Jamar Chase, they're trying to hold that weapon close to him and use it as a surprise, they're going to get to him really early and often. That's why I say 2 touchdowns and anytime touchdown, because for one, I do think he's going to play. And for 2, I think they're using this as part of their script to kind of get him involved early and often. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards that pick right now.
Yeah, they were kind of hinting at him playing last week, but I had a feeling that he wasn't gonna last week. It just seemed a little early, and I didn't think they would rush him. Obviously that's their guy, so they don't want to rush him. But if he's ready to go, they'll put him out there. So I do agree. I think he's probably gonna play this week if he was kind of hinting at it last week. But you're right. That's like the tricky stuff. Like Bill Belichick taught the whole league how to do that, and they're running with it. You got anything else in this game?
First touchdown, right? Kind of going to that same point with the Bengals. I think they're at home. They can come out with the momentum, and if Chase does get involved early, they're gonna he does play. They're gonna get him involved early with a plus 600 for Caesars. I like according to Caesars, so I do like that. If you can probably find it higher, and if you can, I will put that in if he is playing, and then Mixon, of course, at a plus 700 or Samaje Perine. I know that Mixon was a little dinged up, so one of those two. It's a plus 700 for Mixon, and then a plus 750 for Perine on DraftKings. So, and then on the other side, Kelsey plus 650, and then any choice is a good choice as far as the Chiefs go. Besides that, because you just never know what you're going to get with the Chiefs. You might throw it to an offensive tackle for a touchdown in the goal line. So, your guess is as good as mine, but, it doesn't hurt to throw a little bit on Kelsey for a plus 650.
Yeah, that's always the case with the Chiefs, man. I say it every time. Sometimes on Sunday mornings, me and Chad are like, "All right, let's throw a little flyer parlay out. Let's combine two touchdown scorers." You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just put them in a parlay and just see what happens. And like every once in a while, he'll bring up the Chiefs. He's like, "Oh, what about the Chiefs?" And I'm like, "Well, if we're not taking Kelsey for two, I'm not taking anybody because
yeah,
they're liable to have 5 touchdowns with 5 different touchdown scores any given
yeah,
Sunday. So yeah, I stay away from going too hard on touchdowns just because it's so mixed matchy. I mean, Kelsey had that 4 touchdown game against the Raiders and then didn't have another touchdown for like 5 weeks. Everybody else was scoring.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
no,
true.
I 100% agree with you on that. To Jamar Chase's point on for first touchdown, you can get plus 900 on DraftKings right now, actually.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you're going for Jamar Chase, go that way. Like I said a couple minutes ago, we are working with limited props, so that's why we just gave you the game analysis. I will be making official plays for this Sunday on the Sunday morning show. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're tuning into all the Big Mike stuff as well. Go hit subscribe on his podcast and hit follow on his Twitter as well. All that stuff is in the description box below. Check out the Raiders Chargers game that we did and me and Chad's early line show. I'll also be doing a Jets game preview and a Giant or Cowboys game preview as well for sure. Maybe some other ones also, but those are the ones I have lined up. So look forward to those on the channel as well tomorrow. Got anything else, Mike?
just for the sake of having a little bit of fun, right? Chad does like to do a little like a 2 touchdown parlay. Hey, why not put a Jamar Chase Kelsey parlay together to see what happens? Just for to see what happens. That might be something to consider for this game. If you're
Worth
if you're if you're watching this game, and I mean this is a appointment type TV.
Yeah.
This is one of those type of games. Chiefs Bengals rematch AFC Championship. So if you are watching this game closely and you're going to be watching the whole game, why not put a Kelsey and Chase, 2 touchdown parlay just for fun for a couple of bucks and see what happens.
Yeah, make the game entertaining while you're watching. Throw like a little quarter unit, tenth of a unit or something at it. And the beauty of those plays is like if that you catch 4 of them all season, if you do it every week and you catch like 4 of them, you're probably profitable. You catch 7, you're making bank on that deal. If you're putting the same amount every time and being smart with your bankroll management and all that. So no, it's definitely worth a flyer if you're going to be watching the game. I say that in any game. I mean, I know we're talking about trying to make profits here, but like you got to take some fun bets and have fun at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Making money is more fun when you're having fun doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Other than that, we'll see Mike again next week on the channel. Make sure you're tuned into his stuff and give him a follow. We appreciate you coming on, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it, bro.
Peace, everybody. Best of luck gambling this week.